Good evening and welcome to another edition of Marijuana, Compassion, and Common Sense, the TV show. I'm so excited to be here again, and I'm even more excited that you're here watching the show. And if you enjoy this show, and I'm sure you will, be sure and tell your friends to watch the show too, if they are fortunate like you are and to have cable access. And if they don't have cable access, if they are stuck with satellite dish or something like that and can't get the show, invite them over to your house for a Marijuana, Compassion, and Common Sense party. Yeah, let's hear it for And, if you'd like, you're welcome to come down to our studio audience and be a member of our show. And to get information on how to be a member of our studio audience and to get information on all things marijuana related here in the Inland Empire, from the Coachella Valley to Fontana, from Big Bear down to Temecula, subscribe to my email newsletter. It's absolutely free. And subscribe to it, you go to marijuananews.org, scroll down on the homepage to the box where it says Get Lanny's free email newsletter, enter your email address, hit the subscribe button, and you will start getting an email newsletter once or twice a week in your box, telling you about our meetings, events, telling you about the show, and telling you about all the other marijuana-related things going on here in the Inland Empire, not just here in the Empire, but throughout Southern California, the state of California, the nation, and even the world. And one of the things I want to bring to your attention is what's going on right now in 3 states here in the United States. There are ballot initiatives to legalize marijuana in the states of Colorado, Washington, and Oregon. Now, they all kind of legalize marijuana in slightly different ways, but the point is they legalize it and they actually set up legal distribution methods in which you can purchase marijuana, and that's the whole problem. Decriminalization is nice, but it still doesn't make it easy for you to get cannabis, and that's what these legalization measures will do. And they've been doing very, very well in Colorado and Washington. They've both been polling positively, more people in favor of the initiative than against it, and they've got a lot of money in Colorado and Washington. In Colorado, Marijuana Policy Project and their billionaire supporters are pumping in millions of dollars into the initiative campaign in Colorado. And in Washington, Peter Lewis of Progressive Insurance is putting in millions of dollars there. So we have a really good chance of getting it passed. And one of the things that's really, just this week in August, the NAACP of Alaska, Oregon, and Washington came out in favor and support of Washington's initiative to legalize marijuana. And Oscar Eason Jr., who is president of the NAACP, Alaska, Oregon, Washington State Conference area, said that treating marijuana use as a crime has not only failed, it has perpetuated racial inequalities through unequal enforcement. African Americans are no more likely than whites to use marijuana, but they are much more likely to be arrested for its use. And that's true here in the state of California. For example, African Americans make up only 7% of the population, but they account for 28% of the arrests for marijuana use, and marijuana use in the African American community is no more than in any other community. The marijuana laws, when it was passed in 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act, if you read about it, it was based on pure, unadulterated racism. That was the justification for making marijuana illegal in 1937, and today it's still racist in its enforcement, with way more African Americans and Hispanics being arrested and thrown in jail than their white counterparts. So we've got to pass these legalization measures. And incidentally, in Colorado, it's not just to end racial inequality, of course, it's to raise lots of money. In Colorado, according to the Colorado Center on Law and Policy, the passage and enactment of a statewide marijuana ballot measure could generate as much as $60 million in annual savings and revenue for the state of Colorado. And Colorado is not maybe quite as badly strapped as California, but they're having their difficulties too. And so $60 million is going to go a long way to helping things. So watch what's going on. If you get my email newsletter, I'll keep you informed about it. Hopefully, we're going to see the presidential candidates address this issue. I mean, look at this thing here. We've got 17 states in the District of Columbia have legalized marijuana when recommended by a physician. We have 3 states now doing legalization initiatives on their ballots in November. We spend $20 billion a year in this country on marijuana prohibition enforcement. That's a lot of money to spend. We ensnarl over 850,000 American citizens in the criminal justice system because of marijuana, and you know, they don't talk about it. We've got to see to it that our presidential candidates talk about this. Hopefully, one of the questions asked during the presidential debates will be about marijuana. But I'm not holding my breath on that. That's why this show is so important, because, you know, if you want to get out to people, you've got to be on television. And we've got to get television doing more stuff about marijuana legalization and medical marijuana and not sweeping it under the rugs. And so our political candidates won't feel uncomfortable on the TV camera. I think we need to make our political candidates feel more uncomfortable. Okay, yeah. All right, we've got some wonderful guests here tonight, and I'm going to bring up our first guest, and that is a fantastic activist who's only came into here about 2 years ago. Has it been 2 years? 2 years. 2 years. Dan Kipikash just came out of the blue and has literally transformed our ability to reach people here in the Inland Empire. Dan, come on up and welcome to the set. Okay, it's good to have you here. Let's see, is this thing still working? Yes, our timer's still working. We are so high-tech. This is our timer. So high-tech. This is... Okay. That's hey, Dan, high-tech. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know, how did you, were you involved in marijuana before you moved here?
On the record or off the record?
Well, you're on TV, so it's on the record.
Well, sure, involved as most people ever since a kid, but we moved out here from Florida to California, and about 13 years ago, I broke my back in an accident, and ever since then, I've been taking pain pills and everything else. On the side, of course, recreationally, I noticed that marijuana helped with the pain. So when we moved to California, I knew in coming out here that it was a legal thing from a medical standpoint. So first week I'm out here, make it a priority, and actually met you through the doctor's office here, and got the recommendation and realized I knew nothing. I knew nothing really about marijuana other than, you know, as a kid or whatever, you're a dime bag or whatever. It's, you know, once I got out here, I realized it's more like wine. And I started to get more involved because just seeing the disproportion of people that don't understand what's going on. And I being one of them, you know certain things, but I knew was smoking marijuana. Well, in talking to you and other people and then getting introduced to things here, I realized there's so many more alternatives available that most of what I do are edibles. Mm-hmm. You know, for pain, I have to work, as do many people. So what do? You can't just sit in your office and, you know...
And smoke?
And smoke, you know.
Well, if it's your home office, you can.
At your home office, you can do that. But
if the office where everybody else is working, you just have to nibble on a brownie.
Well, that's exactly it. You know, so you had the edibles, but... you know, of course, I knew of the brownies as kids. It's all a big joke and everything. But the other options are amazing. There's drinks. There's candies. I'm also diabetic. So I'm able to actually go to the collective, and through one of the people that supplies the the marijuana edibles there, she makes, you know, sugar-free edibles for me. That's wonderful. I mean, I can take candy if I'm traveling or if I'm on the road. You know, it just opens up so many possibilities. So that's what prompted me to get more involved. And then you put something out there saying, hey, I got a problem with a website. I'm in the technology field. So you and I started talking about, okay, right. And I got involved more and more from that point.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, you became educated, and now you are helping us educate so many other people about it through the website. Tell us a bit about the website. The website, by the way, is marijuananews.org. Tell us about what happens when somebody goes to the website. What are they going to find?
Well, what we're trying to do is we try to make that for MAP, that sponsors that, marijuananews.org, is that it's an information center. So people can go there and find out all sorts of information, whether it's topical or whether it's local, and where to find a doctor or different things, as well as sign up for the newsletter. And that's a big one right there. I mean, we've got over 3,000 members to the newsletter. Right. And that's fantastic. So the website helps facilitate all that information so one person can go there and see a bunch of things, but a lot is driven around the newsletter and the radio show, now the TV show, to just reach more and more people, and really explain what's going on there, whether it's informative, whether it's legal or, activist stuff, whatever it is. We kind of use that as a funneling effort to get people the information they're looking for.
And of course, that's where you go to subscribe to my newsletter too.
Absolutely. On the first page, you'll see it right there. All they need is your email address, and automatically it signs you up, and automatically you'll receive the emails. Usually there's a couple a week, and that's all it takes is just putting on your email address.
Yeah. And of course, not to toot my horn, but continue doing it, there's a lot of the articles I've written about marijuana. You could access them, correctly?
Yep, absolutely. There's a section in case you don't get Culture Magazine, which is one of the places that you have an article recently and continually. We put it on the website, so if you don't get the magazine or if you miss a month, you can go online and read it right there on the website as well.
Yes, and is the website somewhat interactive? Is there some kind of interaction things you can do on there?
We didn't do it as a social forum, but we do have on Facebook. MAP is there as well, so that is there, so you can go on and do more of a social interaction there. On the website, there's calendars. There's a lot of things that are interactive to give you information, but it isn't built up to be like a social forum where you can post questions. But that's what we use Facebook for.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're managing all of those things as one entity, for everyone to be able to look at everything.
But and also, if you have questions, you can send them into the
absolutely
and get them answered.
You can email questions in. That happens quite a bit, on both sites.
Yeah.
And Lanny or someone else on the team will answer those questions and get you information that you need there as well.
And in fact, you'll be able to see this TV show off of the website.
Absolutely. You'll see it there. And
so if you saw the show on cable access and you want to show it to a friend, all you have to go to the website, marijuananews.org. You'll be able to find it there.
Yep. We're trying to bring this whole effort into the 21st century. And this way people can actually watch it online on their mobile devices. Whatever way you can, we'll have it available for you to be able to see it, whether it's on the cable access when it's broadcast or 3 months from now. Right. It'll be there so you can actually enjoy it and get the information.
Now, of course, Dan doesn't just do that. Dan is also very much an activist. And I've been wanting, one of the things we've talked about quite often is all the bans that all these cities are passing here in the Inland Empire, except for the city of Palm Springs, which allows medical marijuana collectives. Almost every other city and both Riverside and San Bernardino counties have actually passed bans on marijuana. And we've been wondering just how much taxpayer money has been spent paying all these lawyers and enacting these bans and having the cops come out and testify and all this kind of stuff on these and raiding medical marijuana collectives and stuff rather than licensing and regulating. So how did we go about trying to find out just how much of your taxpayer money has been thrown into the bottomless pit of reefer madness, marijuana prohibition?
Well, we talked about it quite a bit, amongst all of us in the group and MAP, and it's been infuriating as to cities are broke, and you've got millions here in Riverside, millions of square feet of empty commercial real estate. But yet the city of Riverside is going after different people to force them out of town, and we just started saying this is crazy. Well, with the Freedom of Information Act, we thought, why don't we use it to our advantage? And Lanny and I spoke about it, and I sent letters to 11 different cities. Asking them and stating the clause of the Information Act, asking them for this information. Well, we did that in March, sent them all out, sat there and waited for the feedback, and we got no feedback. So I called a couple of them, and a couple of the city clerks said, sir, I'm very sorry, I don't have any record of receiving any requests from you. Okay, well, thank you very much. So Lanny and I sat back down and said, well, that's typical. Trying to hide the information. So we thought, well, let's ratchet up a little bit. And we sent every one of them registered, certified mail. Yes. So now we have confirmation that they all received them. One came back and, like Elsinore, asked for an extension. Another one is getting the information for us now. I had to send them $8 for the copying fees. And we actually did just today get Merino Valley, which has had hardly any issues at all. But it's interesting where we're going to get the information out of them, two in particular, Riverside and Long Beach. We've seen millions of dollars wasted on this, and we want to see the numbers.
So, and you'll see it right on this show as we go along, we get him back. We'll bring Dan on and we'll talk about it some more.
Absolutely. We'll bring the information in and let you see it. And
part of the problem, of course, is that all this money being spent is a political problem, and so we decided to tackle political problems directly, and we have formed a club here in Riverside County called the Brownie Mary Democratic Club to specifically start working on a political thing. And Dan is one of the members of the club, and we've got a couple other people here in the studio audience. Nelson and George, come on down. Come on down here, and when you see these gentlemen, we'll give you a little bit of information on how you can join the Brownie Mary Democratic Club as well. George, have a seat right there. Okay. George, Nelson, thank you so much for joining us here on Marijuana Compassion and Common Sense. Nelson, why did you get involved with the Brownie Mary Democratic Club?
I had perfect eyesight till I hit like 58. And then my eyes started going. I didn't understand why, and I learned that I had diabetes, which led to glaucoma and everything. And my eyesight was going, so I never used medical marijuana before. I mean, in college, on the weekends, maybe I used it recreationally, and so then I had to start using it. And I've noticed since I've been using a tincture, it seems to help more than the doctor's eye drops. And I noticed that since I've been involved, I've noticed that the politicians have walked all over the medical marijuana people. And when I heard there was going to be a Brownie Mary Democratic Club, part of the Democratic Party in the United States, I go, that sounds like a good way to get some juice, to get some power to fight it, because most people are not aware that marijuana is a medicine, and it's not just a recreational drug like I remember back in the 70s.
And of course, as people are learning that it's medicine, they have to learn that we are having great difficulty accessing the medicine. And this is what the club is all about, is trying to get it so people can have easy access.
I've noticed the last few years the politicians have clamped down. I mean, I understand it's all about the law enforcement and the alcohol and the big pharma keeping natural medicine out of the hands of the people. Right. And power to the people is what we said in the 60s, and that's why I'm part of the Brownie Mary Club now.
Now it's not power to people, it's marijuana to the people. George, how about you? Why'd you get involved with Brownie Mary Club?
Well, when I heard about club creation starting, I figured, well, this is actually worthwhile effort to spread the truth about the medical marijuana among the people, because most of the time from regular television and stuff, it's mostly lies or misinformation. So this is what I thought. Hey, this is a real chance to become involved in something worthwhile. Because I am a medical marijuana patient. I have a peripheral neuropathy from diabetes, and so I said, hey, you might be at least a little bit useful for this effort to spread truth, and that's basically why I was joining the club.
Well, what makes the three of you all so unique is that you are patients that are actually involved in trying to see to it that people have safe, reliable, and local access. The major problem is that so many people out there are not involved, and I want to thank all three of you for taking the time and getting involved with the Brownie Mary Club. but it's kind of fun. We had a rally out there. The two of you were at this rally. Was it fun? Did you enjoy meeting the other people and stuff?
Oh yeah, and the thing is that you can understand that it's medicine because there wasn't anybody at the rally, I think, under 50 years of age. As you get older, you need it more than the youngsters. If they get a boo-boo skateboarding or something, that's not my problem. Yeah. But old age happens to everybody.
Well, right now, the Brownie Mary Club kind of looks like a senior citizen thing there. And we need everybody to get involved. So even if you don't worry about any age, if you want to get involved, you don't have to be a medical marijuana patient. You don't even have to use marijuana, but you have to but you want to end reefer madness and the $20 billion a year that are being flushed down the drain of marijuana prohibition and bring some common sense and stop all the rest and filling up our jails and the murders on the Mexican border. That's what it's all about. Yeah. And we're going to be working through the political process and meeting members. If you'd like to get involved, what is the Brownie Mary website?
The site should be up probably about middle to end of next week. And we're working on it right now.
What is the web address?
There's a few different addresses we've registered. We have to figure out which one's the main one.
Oh, we haven't decided yet. So you're going to have to watch. Show is so technical. You're going to have to watch the show next week, and by next 2 weeks, it's on every other week. We'll have the website for you to get about
curveball there.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of assumed. I know. Well, anyway, okay.
Well, we'll make sure they know. The website will have it. The newsletters will have it. So the information will be out there.
Well, gentlemen, thank you all for coming up here tonight, and we'll see you at one of the Brownie Mary Club meetings.
Right,
okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I want to bring up two other guests who are here, and I wrote their names down. Once again, so technically proficient here. I want to bring up Lenny Davis and Tanya Goodwin. Come on up, folks. Have a seat right over here. There you go. I took a shower this morning.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Aren't you glad? Somebody thank me for taking a shower. That's because you don't know. They don't know what I'm like if I haven't. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for coming here. You both have some very interesting stories about how cannabis has benefited you. You want to tell us a little bit about Lenny?
Yeah. Okay. I've been taking Vicodins and Norflex, Norco. Everything, okay, it was starting to mess with my kidneys, and I was having really bad problems going to the bathroom and that. But the pain was still there. And I've been against marijuana all my life. A friend of mine said, here, you got to try this. Okay, at the time, it wasn't legal. I tried it. The pain went away right away. Okay, and yeah. I have a collapsed disc. I was told I was never going to be able to walk again. Okay, herniated disc, everything. Okay, there's one flaw with marijuana. It stops the pain. Okay, yeah. But when you get up the next morning, you don't realize that you were hurting the next day until you get up, and you know just how bad it was when you try to get out of bed and you can't. Because the pain is so bad. So I take a toke.
So you have it right by your bedstand, and first thing in the morning you take a little toke.
I take a toke.
Well, it's a lot better than taking a Vicodin.
Well, yeah, because it's not messing up my insides.
Yeah.
And all the other parts of the Vicodins that just totally destroy your body.
And then it stimulates your appetite, and you have a good breakfast.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I bet you do.
But, okay, I'm 62 years old. Okay. I feel like I'm 40.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of it. I get to go out and do stuff now that I couldn't do a year ago.
And Tanya, how about you? How does it help in you in your life?
Well, I've always had a very thin weight issue, so it improves my appetite, helps me with anxiety. In 2009, I had 2 open heart surgeries 12 days apart.
12 days apart?
12 days apart. 2 complete surgeries. So they wanted to put me on all kinds of stuff. I mean, they want to get, if you want to get high off pills, that's one thing. But all of this, the junk that's in all of that is so bad for all of your system, for your kidneys, your liver, all of that.
Now you're talking about pain medication.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And I was on so much of it, having so many surgeries, but becoming a cannabis patient, it's a lot easier,
How many pills were you taking before you started using cannabis?
Do you know what a pharmacy looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. I have several issues. I have arthritis. I have fibromyalgia, myofascial pain syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, bad back.
Attention to
So what do you take now?
Marijuana.
That's it?
pretty much. And she has a heart valve.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not going to hurt the heart valve. Unlike some of these medications actually would hurt it. And, of course, it helps your appetite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Helps with anxiety, helps with my appetite.
And insomnia? Oh, man, I was taking Ambien. Mm-hmm. Okay, take one or two just to fall asleep, because I can go 4 or 5 days with no sleep.
Not good.
No, it
not
destroys
good.
your body.
Yeah.
Okay, but I like you have sativas and indicas. The sativas I use, like I go to school online at Ashford University. Okay, I have a 3.85 major average. Yeah, and I'm 62.
Yay.
Okay, I have to concentrate to do this to get past my classes. So I take a sativa like Blue Dream or Trainwreck. Okay, that makes you focus actually. And that when I want to go to sleep, I take an indica.
You've become an expert.
He
Yes,
has, I'm going to tell you. You just don't even know.
This is all the kind of things you got. You know, cannabis is not.
Yeah, you got to learn.
Yeah, it's not just this little. You know, you take anything and smoke it. There's a real science to it, and you've learned all about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of through the internet and reading books and everything. I even grew some. The backyard boogie is mine. I created it.
There you go. Well, Tanya and Lenny, thank you so much for joining us here on Marijuana Keep On Your Sense. And just stick here because we're going to roll out of the show again. I want to come on up here, Rory. Rory's going to sing us out of the show here again. I just want to mention to you that we do have our radio show, Marijuana, Compassion, and Common Sense, is on every Monday at 6 o'clock on Inland Empire Talk radio station KCAA 1050 AM, and you can also hear it everywhere else on the internet at kcaradio.com. So here to take us out of tonight's show is Rory Murray, with another of his wonderful songs.
Thank you. I drove to my dispensary just to find that they've been closed. 100-mile round trip, I was really feeling hosed. The stress and all that traffic were driving me insane. So I picked up Jack Daniels and we rode the carpool lane. Whiskey and weed, they're nothing of the kind. One helped me see the light, one almost made me blind. God made marijuana, man created booze. The states have made us winners, but the feds could make us lose. You can pick up whiskey at a gas station in town, but if you're a cannabis patient, they treat you like a clown. We're law-abiding citizens, but they take away our rights. They'd rather see us liquored up than to have a natural high. Whiskey and weed, let's make the reefer madness end. Lobbyist in Washington is what we need, my friend. Before they kick our doors down, we had best unite. They've got the guns, we've got the numbers, and we're fighting for our lives. So turn off the Kardashians and get off on the street. Politicians that oppose us are the ones we must defeat. Join MAP, ASA, and NORML, the human solution too. And vote for Gary Johnson, that's what we've got to do. Whiskey and weed, let's make the reefer madness end. What lobbyist in Washington is what we need, my friend. Before they kick our doors down, we had best unite. They've got the guns, we've got the numbers, fighting for our lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roy. Thank you all for coming down to the show. Tell your friends about